There is a retirement crisis in America, and it will likely get far worse in the future. Today, I read an article on Yahoo Finance, put out by CNN, and written by Tammy Luby, titled, "I'm Down to Eating Ramen. Social Security Benefits Aren't Keeping Up with Inflation." The author of this article referenced a 78-year-old widow who had worked as a graphic designer. She's paying $100 more per month at the grocery store than she was before inflation started skyrocketing in 2021. Her landlord increased her rent by $65 per month in the past 2 years. Her utilities cost more, and her 7 medications cost more. She's trying to survive on $1,163 from Social Security. She said if it's not marked down at the store, she doesn't eat it. She said she doesn't buy beef anymore because she can't afford it. Well, my heart goes out to this woman. Losing your spouse is never easy. In her case, I am sure it made her life far more difficult from a financial standpoint. Her situation is not unique, unfortunately. There are countless Americans who are struggling to survive on Social Security alone. As discussed in this story today, it is becoming increasingly difficult, especially for renters. Housing across the board is getting very expensive. Many landlords have had to increase their rent to compensate for more expensive insurance, more expensive property taxes, more expensive labor costs, and more expensive repair costs. I don't know where some of these people are going to go unless they have family they can move in with. Perhaps they need to start watching the Sarasota Tim channel and learn how to live in a camper. Getting back to the article, the author shared some interesting facts which came from the Senior Citizens League. Social Security benefits have risen by 58% between 2010 and 2024, but the cost of goods and services purchased by typical retirees jumped 73% during that time. The prices of bread and ground beef have shot up nearly 147% and 73% respectively over that period. Here are my thoughts. I don't think anyone should bank on Social Security cost of living adjustments keeping pace with the rising cost of most goods and services. People need to plan to have other sources of income beyond Social Security. That program is not designed to replace all of your pre-retirement income. The problem is, many people are unable to set aside money for retirement because they're doing their best to survive paycheck to paycheck right now. I've had numerous conversations with people in the workforce recently. Some are not contributing anything to a retirement plan, and others are contributing very little. The small amount being saved isn't going to generate much income during retirement years. I'm afraid some people will blow through that money very quickly, and then they will be at an age where it will be difficult to go back to work because of physical or mental decline or because of ageism. In reference to the article today, I don't think eating ramen noodles every day in retirement is the answer. With the cost of healthcare, I think you need to be eating a well-balanced diet during your retirement years to keep your body healthy. No one wants to spend their retirement years going to and from doctors and hospitals. Getting back to the article, the author referenced Shannon Benton from the Senior Citizens League, who said, "We're hearing that household costs rose faster than cost of living adjustments last year, with food and housing leading the way. Some seniors are being forced to spend down their retirement savings at a faster rate and go into credit card debt." Ladies and gentlemen, I truly believe this is going to get far worse in the future. However bad the retirement crisis is today, prepare yourself for what is to come. You are likely going to see some tragic things here in America. I read some of the comments beneath this article. I'll share some of them with you. One commenter said, "America is the worst at taking care of their elderly. I commend those kids who step up and are willing to take in or take care of their parents if needed. Most aging people don't want to have to depend on others. especially if they've been taking care of themselves their entire life. Are there food, health, and utility programs available to the elderly on low incomes? Sometimes. Are they aware of them? Sometimes. Is there enough affordable elder housing? No. And that's just because of capitalism, aka greed. In many other countries, elders are revered, not shunned and thrown away. The next commenter said, Social Security is a supplement only. Your retirement is your responsibility. It amazes me how many people don't save for retirement and expect Social Security to be their only income. The last comment that I'll share with you came from someone who said, absolutely pathetic. Why do we keep calling this a great nation when seniors are starving and professional athletes are signing $300 million contracts? These seniors built this nation. The younger generation is tearing it down. Well, my friends, people certainly have strong opinions. It's always interesting to see what people have to say. I read another interesting article today on Yahoo Finance, put out by CNN and written by Jordan Valinsky, titled, Big Lots is closing hundreds of stores after warning it could go out of business. According to the author, Big Lots is closing more than 300 locations across the United States, or roughly a quarter of its stores. The author went on to reference the Big Lots CEO, who said in a press release that the company missed their sales goals due largely to a continued pullback in consumer spending by core customers, particularly in high-ticket discretionary items. Ladies and gentlemen, this is another example of what is happening in the real economy. Many consumers are stretched thin financially. Their wages are not keeping pace with inflation. Their Social Security is not keeping pace with the high cost of goods and services. People have less money to spend at local businesses. This will likely result in more businesses that fail in different local economies. I worry about the trickle-down effect this will have. Here's another thing that concerns me. Big Lots sells pretty reasonably priced items. We aren't talking about Gucci or Prada here. If a fairly inexpensive retailer is struggling right now, this should really clue you in to how bad things are getting for everyday people. I read some of the comments beneath this article. I'll share some of them with you. You can sense the sarcasm in this first comment. Disneyland is noticing less people showing up and spending money. Big Lots is shutting down 300 stores. The economy is doing terrific. The last comment that I'll share with you came from someone who said, if a discounter like Big Lots is in economic trouble, things are bad. Their typical customer isn't exactly the 1%. Further proof the lower income folks are hurting the most due to Bidenflation. The last article that I'm going to share with you may be depressing to some people. I read this on Yahoo Finance, put out by Go Banking Rates, and written by Laura Beck, titled, A $150,000 Income is Lower Middle Class in These High-Cost Cities. According to the author, you are lower middle class in San Francisco if your income ranges from $91,126 to $151,877. Let that sink in for a moment. If you are making over $150,000 in that city, you are considered lower middle class. Not middle class, lower middle class. In San Jose, California, you are considered lower middle class if your income is between $90,673 to $151,122. In Arlington, Virginia, you are lower middle class if your income is between $91,591 and $152,652. In Gilbert, Arizona, you are lower middle class if your income is between $76,786 and $127,977. In Plano, Texas, you are lower middle class if your income is between $70,453 and $117,421. In Washington, D.C., you are lower middle class if your income is between $67,815 and $113,024. In Anchorage, Alaska, you are lower middle class if your income is between $63,821 and $106,368. You are also lower middle class in New Jersey if your income is between $60,767 and $101,279. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you a homework assignment. Go on a job search site like Indeed. Look at the jobs that are available in these cities. In our new gig economy, there are a lot of part-time jobs that don't pay all that well. It's getting harder and harder to find a good, high-paying job with upward mobility and great benefits. I just randomly picked Gilbert, Arizona. I looked on Indeed. One of the first jobs that came up was a court clerk that pays between $22.62 per hour and $30.53 per hour. Next was a farmer's market assistant, which pays between $100 to $200 per day. Then there was a driving range attendant that pays $14.35 per hour part-time. There is a job posting for an FBI special agent with a salary range between $97,300 and $125,544. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. or Mrs. FBI agent, but according to the article that I referenced today, you are going to be considered lower middle class. As per the author of today's article, you are lower middle class in Gilbert, Arizona, if your income is between $76,786 and $127,977. My point is, inflation is raging, and good jobs that may allow you to get ahead in life and have financial freedom someday are few and far between. This is what is happening in some parts of America. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.